So we are on chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga, text number 20. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevayah yatra chaivatmanatmanam pasyan atmani tushyati pasyan na atmani tushyati sukham atyantikam yattad buddhi grahyam atindriyam vetti yatra na jaivayam titas chalati tatvatah यम लब्ध्वा चापरम लाभम मन्यते नाधिकम ततः यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुखेन गुरुणापि विचाल्यते तम विद्या दुख संयोग वियोगम योग संगीतम. So this is the stage which is the perfectional stage in the sense now the yogi has achieved the samadhi. So in the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from the material activities, material mental activities by the practice of yoga. So pratyahar has happened, dharana, dhyan, and then samadhi is achieved. This perfection is characterized by the one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to see and to relish and rejoice in the self. So here now, till now, the yogi was actually in the control of mind, but now he's actually overseeing everything, how the mind is acting, how the senses are getting attracted. So how he has actually retrieved the senses from the sense object. So he is now the overseer. He is seeing everything and he is seeing himself also. So that is the perfection of yoga system. And later then he will, of course, he will focus on the Paramatma. So in that joyous state, one is situated in the boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. This is very important statement. That actually proves that this is Sakarvad, that means the personalism. Because Ashtanga Yoga or maybe the Jnana Yoga, when it progresses to meditation on the Super Soul, many Jnanis actually say that now that is Nirvana. Nirvana means we are getting merged with Brahman or we are becoming one with Brahman, but not that is not true. Patanjali system and actually Bhakti Yoga also says that Jiva actually experiences transcendental happiness. Now, how will you experience happiness? Through senses. But now you don't have material senses, transcendental senses. That is the highest stage. So, established thus, one never departs from the truth. And upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. So, till now, he was materialist is happy, enjoying the sense pleasures. But he's actually not happy because he suffers later because he cannot have a permanent happiness. It's a limited happiness and it doesn't satisfy the soul. Now, first time he actually realizes the actual medium through which he can satisfy himself and get happiness. So that stage is such a stage where he doesn't want to actually live. He thinks that upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. That is perfection. That is the destination. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. So, still the practicing stage, there is always possibility that the yogi can fall back again to materialism. Like there are so many yogis who can practice tapasya for 60,000, 80,000 years. Like Vishwamitra Muni did tapasya for 60,000 years. Can you imagine? But then Menaka came, he again fell down. So, but once you practice the stage where you can focus on first yourself, Prabhupada is going to compare this with the Cheto Darpana Marjanam. So all these technical terms like Kaivalyam, Nirvanam, liberation, these are all same in the sense, but different processes, different paths, different transcendentalists have defined that particular stage in different way. They realize it in different way. For example, monists call this as a Kaivalyam That means oneness with the Supreme. So they don't focus on the transcendental pleasure, soul experiences, but they say now, because Prabhupada writes, because if they do, then they have a fear of jeopardizing the theory of oneness. Oneness means we have no personal, no separate existence at all. We are merged. But Jiva cannot merge. He is eternally separated from Krishna. So that's why they say, but they don't want to, they are fearful about personal existence because they know that it's a very miserable position. So either spiritual body or material body or senses, it is miserable. That is their understanding. So liberation or kaivalyam or nirvana means oneness in the sense merging. But Patanjali doesn't agree with that. Patanjali system, which is the Hatha Yoga, that is Ashtanga Yoga system, actually says no. That is Chit Shakti, internal potency. The transcendental pleasure is actually experienced by a jiva when he actually understands his actual position. Swarupena Vyavastiti. His transcendental position is in connection with Krishna. That is why it is said yoga. What is the meaning of yoga? Yoga means to connect with Krishna. Karma yoga means through fruitive activities you are trying to connect with Krishna. Jnana yoga, with empiric knowledge, with the knowledge you are trying to connect with Krishna. Yoga means to connect. Okay. Bhakti yoga means directly performing devotional service, serving Krishna's senses and achieving your actually connecting with Krishna. That is yoga. So, so Prabhupada writes that this actual liberation, actual this stage is Acheto Darpan Margam, means first time a soul sees that I am not this senses, I am not this mind, I am not this intelligent, I am not this false ego also. I am spirit soul, Aham Brahmasmi. And then he also sees that there is a super soul within, which is actually a source of happiness. Anandamaya Abhyasat stage is this. So there are two kinds of samadhi written in the yoga system. What is that? Sampragyata, Sampragyata Samadhi, and Asapragyata Samadhi. What is the meaning of these two stages? They are all samadhis. But the first stage is where uh, one is so Prabhupada right, one becomes situated in the transcendental position by various philosophical research. After research, they come to this samadhi. That means this I told you that I am not this body, I am not this senses, I am not mind, I am not like this. And when they focus on now the dharana, what is the dharana of Ashtanga Yoga, Ashtanga Yogi now? What is the dharana of Yogi? Huh? On what? Dharana means suppose minus mark. Anyway, no. Dharana means an object on which we do dhyana. So what is dharana of yogi, Ashtanga yogi? Who is within the heart? So the Paramatma is the super soul, is his dharana on which he is doing dhyana. So Sampragyata Samadhi means he's actually have a dhyan on super soul, that is an object, but he identifies an object and himself as a different. He identifies there is a difference. I am the sadhaka and this is my dhyana. But Asapragyata Samadhi is what? That there is actually no connection with the mundane pleasure. I mean, there is no connection between the two. They get the object is full samadhi. It doesn't identify that there is nothing, there is anything material. So that is asapragyata samadhi. completely one is transcendental to all sorts of happiness derived from the senses. So this is the difference between asapragyata and sampragyata samadhi. So Prabhupada writes that whichever yoga practice is there, among that bhakti yoga is simple in because there is practicing all this jnana yoga, hatha yoga, or dhyana yoga. There are problems faced by the sadhaka, but there are no such problems in bhakti yoga. Now we are going to see this in coming verses also. How Krishna is in the end saying that bhakti yoga is Shrestha. Bhakti yogi is the greatest yogi. Among the all yogi, you try to become a bhakti yogi. So why? So that is what we have to see. The first example, first comparison Prabhupada does is that for a human being to survive, he has to take care of his body. You know, the eating, sleeping, defending, mating. But bhakti yogi, he knows that I have to survive, but my goal is yoga, that is connection with Krishna. So I have to just survive for the bare necessities. I mean, I'll do effort only for keeping my body and soul together. And in that, entire time is utilized for union, I mean the yoga, connection with Krishna. But in that, he says that although in devotee's life there are so many accidents happen, incidental occurrences, in the sense that sometimes he himself is put into difficulty or his loved ones are dear ones are kept in the, difficulty, or sometimes they pass away also. But he doesn't get affected by that. He is always have in the background that what is my duty is to be alert in Krishna consciousness. Because all other things in the spiritual, material world will be coming and going. Agama, apaino, anityas, tam stititya. So he focuses on the main task of human being. That is what? Opportunity to connect with Krishna. If that is gone, then again he has to come back. And this incidental occurrences like so many things, diseases, accidents, scarcity, or somebody loved ones passed away. These things we cannot stop. Nobody can stop. So he just taught it. But so that is uh, the determination of a bhakti yogi, which is the driving force for him to get mercy from Krishna. So find out, I mean, the difference is whether Ashtanga Yogi or Hatha Yogi is doing his tapasya, he may not get help from Krishna, mercy from Krishna. But there is no direct service. But Bhakti Yogi is actually serving Krishna by showing his attitude. What is that? Where he is showing attitude? How we have just discussed. What is his attitude? That for me, you are the main person. Whatever happens, I don't care. That is his attitude. You know, if some employees are there, 2, 3 employees are there, and you are giving the task, somebody says, "Arey, mera 6 baj gaya. Now I have to go." But others say, "No, no, you tell me 8 o'clock still I'll have to work, and I don't want anything. No OT overtime." Then naturally, what will happen? Affection and compassion will come, and you will automatically you will actually increase his salary. That is mercy from the reciprocator. So that is the advantage in Bhakti Yoga, where Krishna is reciprocating. He sees the attitude of a sadhaka and he helps. So that's very important. So that's why so although the transcendental, all are transcendentalists, except few activists, that is materialists. Jnani, Yogi, Bhakti Yogi, all are what? Transcendentalists. Those who have actually given up gross material sense gratification. They are not interested in anything in material world. But they are in the stages where they have to give up the subtle hankerings of. So Gyani is hankering for, he just want to give up the service attitude also, merging. Yogi may want some siddhi, but still they are not actually attached to the lower sort of things, lower material things. So they are transcendentalists only. So at the end, they will come to perfection only. So transcendentalism means we need determination, patience, utsahad, nishayad, dhairya, tat karma brahma. That's why Prabhupada writes. That's why Krishna says, Sanishayena yoktavyo yogo nirvinna chetasaha sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyakva sarvan asheshata manasevendriya gramam viniyamya samantatah. So one should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon without exception all material desires, born of mental speculation, and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. So, from the very beginning only, he has kept his destination as samadhi. Again, started with yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dhyan, dharana, samadhi. So, from the very beginning, but the result will not come immediately. He has to be very determined and patient. And so many, just like we have discussed, Vishwamitra Muni, 60,000 years. But again, what happened? Menka came. Again, he fell down. Again, he started. Then Ramba came. Again, he fell down. Again, he started. So, patience is needed. So, this is very important that the sadhaka should not get deviated. Then, success is sure at the end. So, great perseverance is needed. So, that's a Prabhupada mentioned. Bhakti, our Rupa Goswami's Utsaha Nishya Dharya. For success, we need that. So, for determination, Prabhupada writes the one story of sparrow. So, one sparrow was there, she laid eggs on the ocean shore. And with the ocean was on the rise, and one of the wave took away all the eggs. So, the sparrow requested ocean that please return my eggs. Ocean did not even look at her. Then she decided that I will empty you down. And she actually started taking water from her beak and started emptying ocean. But everybody laughed. But she was very determined. And then when Garuda came to know that, oh, this is happening, then Garuda came to help. And then ocean was frightened. That, oh, if Garuda starts this process, then actually I will get empty. And then she got that. So similarly, any practice of yoga. So what is yoga? What? To connect with what? Switchboard? With to connect with Krishna. Yoga. To connect with Krishna. So any yoga, especially Bhakti yoga, means we will be having difficulty. Again, because right now we are not in a mood to get connected with Krishna. All we want is connection with Maya. Again. So there will be difficulty placed by Maya. But for that we have to be very greatly determined that no, this is going to happen, but I will have a fixed dharana and my goal should be achieved. Then only Lord will take us seriously. That's like Pharaoh was very determined. So everybody is laughing. How can you cannot even do that even hundreds of lifetime in a sparrow body. But still she was determined. And that's why when Garuda came for him, similarly, if Krishna sees that actually, if theoretically or practically, if we analyze, Jiva cannot break through the Maya's code because she is Durataya. Mamevaye prapadyante. When Krishna says, you come to me and surrender unto me, then only you can cross Maya. Otherwise, it is impossible. But we have to show that determination to fight with Maya. Then Krishna will help. That is the only, that is very important. So these two verses what we have. So 25 says, Shane Shane Uparame Buddhya Dhruti Gruhitaya Atma Samstam Manakrutva Na Kinchit Abhijintaya. Till the final Samadhi stage comes, on every step there will be obstacles. So one should become situated in trance gradually, step by step, by means of intelligence sustained by full conviction. And thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. So proper conviction and intelligence, one should gradually cease sense activity. That's what we have said. Pratyahar stage means pranayam. So 5 years have been controlled, and pratyahar means all the senses are brought back from the all sense object. That is pratyahar stage. Then mind is steady, because mind is like that. Shotram chakshu sparshanam cham rasanam granam evacha adhishtayam manaschayam vishayan upasevate. What is the situation of mind? Mind is adhyaksha, adhishta of all rasanam granam evacha. So all the senses will be controlled by mind. I mean, the pratyahar means senses are retracted from the sense object. Then only mind has now no task. Now you can focus mind on wherever you want to fix. But unless you control the senses, mind will not be focused. So that is the very important. So we need for that conviction. Then gradually we can have meditation, the cessation of senses, and trance, samadhi. So why Vishwamitra Muni or so many other munis, even though on the path of transcendental samadhi, they fail back? Because they have whoever has a body will have the sense, the attraction towards sense gratification. Because that's why it is said, Shaknoti hi eva yah sodum prak sharira vimokshana. That we have to Kama Krodha Udbhavam Vegam. So Kama Krodha Udbhavam Vegam. All these anarthas we have to tolerate or we have to control till the time we give up the body. Prak Sharira Vimokshana. Till the last breath, it will be there will be a test. Like that. So we have to be very determined and patient and follow the principles. So one should think of no pleasure aside from pleasure of Supreme Self. That is the determination. So what happens? Still, the sadhaka, now we are a sadhaka, we know how our mind is getting distracted time and again. So what we should do? Yato yato nishalati manas chanchalam astiram tatastato niyam etat atmanneva vasham naye. So from wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature. So these are the two great diseases to mind. And the characteristic symptoms of mind is flickering and unsteady nature. Cannot stick to one. Like a pendulum, it goes from here and there. One sense object to another sense object. So unsteady and flickering nature. So it will keep on wandering here and there. Right now you are in class, another time you are in Govinda or whatever. Tatastato niyam etat. One must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. That is sadhaka. Sadhaka means fighting, always doing. Just like a mother who has just a born baby, a restless baby. If she starts doing something, immediately she finds her immediately whatever. So it's a constant job. So we have to do this. Then we can control the mind. And if we could control the mind, then we can become a Goswami. Then the mind will listen to us, our dictation of the intelligence. But right now, what is happening? We are listening to the mind. That's why we are Godas, servant of the mind. So Prashanta Manasam hi enam yoginam sukham uttamam upaiti shanta rajasam brahma bhutam akalmasham. Once we control the mind, we fix our mind on the right object, that is on Lord, you have actually attained the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. So we have to fix mind on Krishna, then only this happens. He is beyond mode of passion. He realizes his qualitative identity with Supreme. And thus he is freed from all reactions to past deeds. That is what this perfection is. He thinks now there is nothing superior than this. That is the first realization. Yunjam nevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashah sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukham ashmute. Thus the self-realized, self-controlled yogi constantly engaged in yoga practice becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. So again, self-realization means knowing one's constitutional position, that is Krishnera Nityada, not one who has no identity now, not merging with Supreme. He is experiencing transcendental happiness. So to experience something, we have to exist. Not like Jnani, they don't want to keep their existence. They want to merge and go into void. So that is self-realization. So individual soul is a part and parcel even in the conditional stage and even in the perfectional stage also. That is self-realization. To understand our actual position, Swarupena Vyavasthiti. And what it makes a transcendental when we actually understand and connects with service to Krishna. That is Brahma Samsparsha. Sarvabhutastam Atmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. So what are the symptoms then? If of a person who has realized this, his Swarupena Vyavasthiti, then I am Atma and Krishna is my Lord. A true yogi observes me in all beings. He sees Krishna is not only within my heart. He is there within everybody's heart and everywhere also. Also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord everywhere. He doesn't see that, oh, the super soul in his heart or her heart is different. Same Supreme Lord is there everywhere. So that's why later Krishna says, Ishvara Sarva Bhutana Hrid Deshe Arjuna Tishtu. So whether it is a dog or Brahmana or elephant or dog eater, everywhere the same super soul exists within their heart. Outwardly he sees that the soul is actually reaping the results of his past activities. That's why he is going through some difficulties. The dog like, elephant like. But actually, he is the same as me, as a soul. That is the power of his samadhi. He is coming into that position. So living entity is a superior energy. What is superior energy? Para apara. What is superior energy in this? Para prakriti. So para and apara. So because the Jiva is tatastha, that's why he takes, although he's superior energy, but he takes shelter of inferior energy. So that's why he sees that all energies belong to Krishna only. So yogi sees equally because he sees that all living entities, although different situations, according to results in all circumstances, remains the servant of God. So he sees that anyway in material world, conditioned soul is actually serving Maya. But even Maya is a servant of Krishna. So indirectly he is serving Krishna only. Indirectly. So that's how he sees all souls are actually servants of God. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachamena pranashyati. So this is how the Bhakti Yoga is so superior that Krishna actually gives him his own whole potency to the sadhaka, whole help. What he says, one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost. So like Draupadi, or you can say Gajendra. Whenever they are just asking, Krishna is present there. Right? Prahlad Maharaj. So he's never lost to me. So Krishna personally becomes his companion. He is companion to everybody, even a hog or a dog, but they can't realize it. Or neither personally Krishna actually helps them because they are not ready. But when when the devotee sees Krishna everywhere and within himself also, then there is a personal reciprocation. So again, Prabhupada writes that living entity can never be annihilated. His perfectional stage is love for Krishna. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vidochana. Like that. So yogi then सर्वभूतस्थितं यो माम भजति एकत्वम् आस्थितः सर्वथा वर्तमानोपि स योगी मयि वर्तते. So this yogi, this is the description of yogi who has perfected his life. What are his symptoms? How he acts, how he faces the difficulties, then how he actually overcomes the difficulties. We have seen. And now, such a yogi who engages in worshipful service of super soul, knowing that I and the super soul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances. So this yogi sees within himself four-arm Vishnu form, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, like that. And he focuses on him and he sees this form in everybody's heart. And there is no difference between these innumerable super souls in everybody's heart. They are all same. Like that. And Prabhupada writes that the yogi in Krishna consciousness can, even though he may be engaged in various activities, while in material existence, still he is liberated. He has prarabdha, but because he knows that, everywhere is Krishna, within me also is Krishna. So even though he has prarabdha, he is liberated. Nikhilasvapi avastasu jivan muktasa uchyate. Because bondage comes when I want to satisfy my senses. That is bound. That is the rope. Right? When I know that this is Krishna's property and I am using it for Krishna, then even though I am using it as a matter, but it is not binding me. That's why Nikhilasvapi Vavastasu Jivan Muktasu. Although he can do anything, building a big business, but there is no personal motive to enjoy the results. That enjoyment propensity actually is binding, not the activity. Activities are same. The bhakta is doing same activity, bhakta is also doing same activity. But the intention is to enjoy and to serve. That actually binds oneself and others liberates. This is the main thing. So what he does, Atmopammena sarvatra samam pashyati yo Arjuna, sukham va yadi va dukham sayogi paramo matah. So he is perfect yogi who by comparison of his own self sees the true equality of all beings in both their happiness and their distress. He sees. So, what is the source of happiness and distress? Why are living entities happy even in this material world and distressful in this material world? What is the reason? Why are they distressed? Why are they distressful or in distress? They are forgetful of Krishna. That's why Bhayam Dvitiya Abhiniveshatasya. And why others are happy? They remember their connection with Krishna. That is the yogi sees that, oh, they are happy because they know the connection. They remember their connection with Krishna. And they are distressful because they forget, they have forgotten their relationship with Krishna. That's why that is the cause of their distress. So yogi knows that the modes of material nature are actually uh, forcing those who are forgetful to Krishna to act in such a way that their misery, they are in the miserable condition. So those who are happy, they know the that they remember their position with Krishna. So what they do, they actually try to help others to remember their relationship with Krishna. That is preaching. They help others. Remember, you are the servant of Krishna. That is the greatest philanthropic activity. Philanthropy means to help others, to make them happy by providing them some food, shelter, and but the greatest philanthropic activity is what? To connect soul with his father, who can provide everything. How long you are going to provide? You can provide food, shelter to someone. You are temporary. So you cannot do this activity, philanthropic activities for a long. So the greatest help to anybody will be to connect him with Krishna. That's why even Krishna says, Nacha tasman manusheshu kashin me priya krittamaha. Those who do that, they are very dear to me. Those who preach about me, and I help them. So Prabhupada here puts the point that this is what the devotee of the Lord always looks for the welfare of all living entities. They know that they are happy now, so they can stay happy. They say, no, 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 no. We have to make others happy also. Yogi, Ashtanga Yogi doesn't do that. Ashtanga Yogi is happy with his own satisfaction. But Bhakti Yogi, why? Because they are greater. Why Bhakti Yoga is greatest than a comparison with all other yoga process? Because they are selfless. They are non-envious. They are never uh, happy with their own liberation, own happiness. No, they are ready to go through all the troubles to bring others into that position. Ashtanga Yoga will not do that. Chalo, I will do the classes. He is happy with his own samadhi realization. So devotee who is trying to, his best to turn every man towards Krishna consciousness. That's why he is the best. That's why later. So there will be one question based on shloka number 47. Yoginam api sarvesham mad gate nantaratma. How? Why the bhakti yogi is highest? So you have to put all this comparison. what we have discussed till now. Okay? Text number 33. Now Arjuna puts forward his argument. Arjuna Vacha Yoyam Yogastvaya Proktah Samyena Madhusudana Etasyaham na Pashyami Chanchalatvat Stitim Stiram. Arjuna said, O Madhusudan, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. This is very clear cut, honest student. What you have told me is all right, but from my side, I am saying that this is impractical and unendurable. I mean, I can't do that because you are focusing on mind, controlling mind, and this is very important, very crucial for this yoga. The mind is very restless and unsteady. Prabhupada writes, see, this is happening 5,000 years ago. Krishna and Arjuna had a dialogue. And Arjuna was far better position than as compared to us now in Kali Yuga, 5,000 years down the line. Arjuna was a warrior who has actually conquered and took blessings from Indra, Lord Shiva. Can you imagine? Still, if he says that I cannot control the mind, then what could be the other position presently? Hmm? And so Prabhupada right. So even though knowing this, if in the Kali Yuga, if some imitating people, I mean, some people are imitating this yoga, that means they are wasting their time. So for Kali Yuga, Ashtanga Yoga is not the proper process. Prabhupada later write that for few, they may be able to do that. But for the common people, it is not recommended. What? Ashtanga Yoga. So Arjuna says, why this is not possible? Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramathi balavat dhrudam tasyaham nigraham manne vayu reva sudhushtam. So he says, the characteristics of mind is first, chanchalam, restless. Pramathi, pramathi means agitating. Few devotees, they compare mind with elephant. You know, that elephant, how difficult it is to control elephant. Just imagine a mad elephant enters into a garden. What will happen? He will destroy it. Okay? But if you tame elephant, then what happens? You can make him work like 100 people. I mean, you can take him, you can employ him, and you can remove 100 people. He can actually lift big trunks also, like tree trunks. And actually, you can tame this elephant like for a circus also. Have you seen? Small kids can sit on him. He will not destroy. I mean, he will not make a harm to them. So same elephant is there. One is untrained mad elephant, another is trained elephant. Similarly, our mind is like that. The mad mind, uncontrolled mind, agitating mind. Just imagine. If somebody says, "Oh, you look very bad," we say, "What?" And then he will be jailed. So what happens? The agitating mind cannot control anything. But controlled mind will have a discussion that, okay, what is your definition of good or bad? Discussion. So the point is, everybody has a mind, the elephant. How you train that elephant is up to you. That's why we have to make a friend with this mind. So Arjuna, what is saying? Tasyaha nigraham manne vayor eva sudushkaram. Krishna says, Arjuna says, I can control the wind, but I cannot control the mind. Now, can any one of us control the wind? So what to speak of mind? It's very difficult. But Krishna says, fine, I admit this. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Asamshayam Mahabaho, Mano Durnigraham Chalam. Durnigraham means difficult to curb. Because even the mad elephant, to train him is very difficult. He may kill actually the trainer. Durnigraham. But Abhyasena tu Kaunteya, Vairagena cha Grihyate. But it is undoubtedly very difficult to compress. But it is possible by suitable practice, Abhyasa, and by detachment, Vairagena. So what is that? Abhyas and Vairagya. What type of Abhyas we should do to control our mind? Ah, only thing, yoga, mind will, even we have seen that our Vishwamitra Muni had tried to sit in the fire, in the river, complete celibacy, full austerity, but still he was living because there is no Krishna connection. Soul gets nourished by union with Krishna, not by anything else. So, all the senses serving Krishna. So, all this Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Archanam, Vishnu, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Shakhyam, Atma Nivedam. So, Padasam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasenam. So, all these are the ways where we actually serve Krishna with our senses. In that way, we can actually automatically the senses will get detached from the sense gratification. As long as we are connected with Krishna by this service attitude, there is a guarantee. That's why it is said. That's what Prabhupada said. From the morning till evening, we have to be serving with Krishna. There is no time for Maya. So Vairagya means detachment. So detachment will not happen unless we get attached to Krishna. The degree to which we are attached to Krishna by our service, that to that degree we will be detached from the material activity. We don't have to artificially be detached from the material activities and not doing anything like this, any other human. But we will be hanker for nourishment because soul is anandamaya abhyasa. So we have to simultaneously start getting attached to Krishna. Then automatically will that Vairagya will happen. So it is like two examples is given that somebody, if I am hungry, if I have been provided by one plate of prasad, then with every morsel, what will happen? I will get nourished, satisfied, and my hunger will subside. Similarly, if we surrender to Krishna, then we will feel bhakti, direct perception of Krishna, and automatically we will be detached by the other anything, anyatra, material activity. So this is the only treatment for the mad mind. Engage our senses in Rishikesh's senses. Rishikesh. Okay, so serve Rishikesh. This treatment process is called Krishna consciousness. असंयतात्मना योगो दुष्प्राप्य इति मे मति वश्यात्मना तो यतता शक्यो अवाप्तुम अपायतः. So what Arjuna is saying, Krishna is saying, for one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult. But he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. That is my opinion. So Krishna is saying, my opinion. So Arjuna has put his opinion. Sorry, sir. Ashtanga Yoga, I cannot perform. It is impractical. Krishna says, my opinion is, if you control your mind, then it is success is guaranteed. But what is the process? Bhakti Yoga. Connect with Krishna. And that's why he says, strive by appropriate means. That is Bhakti Yoga. So, trying to practice yoga while engaging the mind in material enjoyment means pouring water on the fire. Ignite the fire and then pour water. So, yoga, which is now in the material, the Kali Yuga, we see people do yoga practice and then again enjoy sense gratification. That will never give success. One must control the mind by engaging it constantly in transcendental loving service to Lord. Yes. So Arjun says. So this is the next section actually. Arjun says, Ayati Shraddha Yopeto Yogaschalita Manasah Aprapya Yoga Samsiddhim Kamgatim Krishna Gacchati. Now, but suppose somebody is actually performing transcendental process, but he becomes unsuccessful. So what will be his destination? Because he has started this process with faith, but later he desists due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism. So it's a very valid question. You know? Because not all are determined. They will give up. So what will happen? Kashin no bhaya vibrashtas chinna brahmiva nashyati apratishto mahabaho vigudo brahmana prati. O Krishna, O mighty Krishna, does not such a man who is bewildered from the path of transcendence fall away from both spiritual and material success, na ghar ka na ghat ka, and perish like a ribbon cloud with no position in any sphere. This is a query by Arjuna that it will happen, it may happen. Then Bhakti Yoga means actually raging a war towards Maya, with Maya. So Maya will be more aggressive towards sadhaka. She will put forward more obstacles. And then based on our past life, how much we have done devotional service, how much we are surrendered to Krishna, we will be able to counteract that. And may be possible that sometimes sadhaka may give up. So what will be his position? Etan me samshayam Krishna chetum arhasi asheshatah tvadanya samshayasyasya chetanahi upavadhyate. So Krishna is very pleased with this attitude of Arjuna where he says, Oh Krishna, this is my doubt and I ask you to dispel it completely. But for you, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt. I know you can do because you are Madhusudana. You kill all the doubts. So Krishna knows everything. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana krishna. Krishna knows past, present, future. So everything. So he knows how the living entities are transmigrating from one body to another. What is their credit? Where they stand. So that's why he could answer. So Krishna says, Shri Bhagavan vacha partha naiveha namutra vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyanakrit kasyit durgatim tata gachyati. O son of Pratha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction, either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. So whether it is Jnana Yogi, Ashtanga Yogi or Bhakti Yogi, whatever they do, they progress. In the sense, the transcendentalist progress. Because just imagine by our nobody is actually trying to come out of the clutches of Maya and trying to find out Krishna. And those who are trying to do, but Krishna is providing to everybody. Those who are atheists, they are also getting everything. So those who want to come to Krishna, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, they will also be helped. But more help will be given to those who are directly serving, trying to come to Krishna, serving within this conditioned stage. So so the answer starts from here, that somebody with with pure faith and love starts bhakti, and then in between he gives them. What happens? त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मम चरणाम्बुजम हरे bhajan apakwa atha pate tatve. They gave up all their uh, what do you call that, varnashram dharma, or whatever the so-called they were following, but they understood that Vasudevam Sarvamiti. I have to surrender to Krishna. So they have started bhakti, but bhajan apakwa. Their devotion was not fully ripened, in the sense of aparipakwa. And patet tato yadu. They give up the devotional practice. Yatra kva abhadram abhut amushyatim. Kovartha apto abhajatam swadharmatam. So what? Yatra ko abhadram. What is the harm? What is the degradation if he gives up in between? Neha bhikarvanashasti pratyavayano vidyate. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahatma. Whatever he does, that will be his praise. That will not be taken away. And he will start from the next life. So that is the first thing. That there is nahi kalyana kritkasya durgatim tat. Never, durgati will never happen. Because, and those who never take to devotional practice and does perform their perfectional duty, whatever their swadharma, perfectly, they don't achieve anything because there is no yoga connection with Krishna. Like that. We may not go in details in the purpose. You go in separately. So what do? They have started performing bhakti, but they fail. What happens with them? Prapte punya kritam lokan usitva shashvati sama shuchinam shrimatam gehe yoga bhrashto abhijaya. The unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planet of pious material, pious living entities, that is Swarga Loka, is born into family of Shuchinam Shrimatam, the righteous people or the family of rich aristocracy. So that is the advantage. Why? Just because they have done bhakti in previous life. That is so Prabhupada, there are two ways, two classes of this unsuccessful yogi, fallen yogi. One is one who does a short-term progress, little progress and fall down. One does long practice of yoga. So, yogi who falls after a short period of practice actually goes to Swargaloka. And then he actually, what he does, he enjoys there, then he comes back to the rich family or very righteous people family. Suchinam Shrinatam. What happens there? Then he mention later, but those who do long time practice and then fall. Athava yoginameva kule bhavati dhimata. Etad bhi durlabhataram loke janma yadi. So these people who have almost achieved success but fail, they take their birth in the family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly such a birth is very rare in this world. They are like an acharya only. I mean, they immediately connect. They don't need any journey of self-discovery. They have attraction from the very beginning. So Prabhupada writes that these are like Goswami or Acharya family. So Prabhupada also and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur both had such a lineage. They got the training from the very beginning. So what happens when they get such kind of birth? Tatra, in that birth, tam buddhi sanyogam labhate pauro dehikam. So On taking such birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, Paura Dehikam. He knows, Are, like Jada Bharat, he knew, oh, I was a Brahmana, I was a Kshatriya, then became deer. So now I know I have to be very alert. So yatatocha tato bhuya samsiddho kurunandana. And he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success. Like that. So King Bharat's example is given. So from his life, it is understood that transcendental endeavor for practice of yoga never go in vain. So we have Chitraketu say he also has past background. Bharata, Jada Bharat became. So like that, we know these are the live examples where we see that unsuccessful yogi actually gets benefit of again continuing from wherever he has left. पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनेव ह्रियते हि अवशोऽपि सः जिज्ञासुरभियोगस्य शब्द ब्रह्माति वर्तते. By virtue of his divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to yogic principle. Now our is a position of anartha nivritti, fighting with anartha. But they immediately get attracted to Nishtha, Ruchi, Asana. I mean, all the 9% of devotion service. They don't have to be forced by anybody. Chalo Mangalarti, chalo Japa Karo, Chola Mala. Do this. They automatically do that. Because Jidnyasur Abhi Yogasya. Even without seeking them, such an inquisitive transcendentalist stands always above the ritualistic principles of scripture. They don't need to follow all these rituals. They are always above. Automatic attraction to Krishna. So Prabhupada writes that those who have got this birth, they are above rituals means, there is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, that person who chants the holy name of your Lordship Krishna are far, far advanced in spiritual life, even born in families of dog eaters. Because such chanters have undoubtedly performed all kinds of austerities and sacrifices. Because unless he does that, he will never have the taste in chanting the holy names of Lord. So example is Haridas Thakur. He was born in Yavana family. But Mahaprabhu made him Namacharya. Because he was chanting every day 3 lakhs names of Krishna. So because he was in previous life, have already followed all the ritualistic methods of Vedic scriptures. Like that. So unless therefore one is purified, one cannot take to principle of Krishna consciousness or become engaged in chanting the holy name of God. These are all purificative processes which he had done already. Like that. So like that, prayatna dyatamanastu yogi samshuddha kilvishah अनेक जन्म संसिद्ध ततो yati param gatim. And when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contamination, then ultimately achieving perfection after many, many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal. Even the Ajamila, actually, he performed within 12 years sincere endeavor. You know that now I knew what had happened. Accidentally, I chanted Narayan and I was saved from the Yamaduta. Just imagine how if I chant with love. He chanted, giving up everything, all the material responsibility. He chanted for 12 years in Haridwar. And then the same Vishnu Duta came to take him to Vishnu Loka, like that. So that's why Krishna says, Tapasvibhyo adhiko yogi jnani bhyopi matodhikah karmibhyashabdhiko yogi tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. A yogi is greater than ascetic, greater than empiricist, and greater than fruitive worker. Therefore, O Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi. So I have already informed, we have already discussed. Yoga means to connect with Krishna. So those who have actually uh, passed the test of fruity workers and they come to transcendentalism, so they come to connect with Krishna with different uh, background. So one uh, group will start linking with Krishna with fruitive activities. They are called karma yogi. I will work for Krishna, but for satisfaction of Krishna. That is karma yogi. Others will say, oh no, we want to understand Krishna, about Krishna, knowledge. So linking with empirical knowledge, predominantly, that is jnana yogi. Some will do devotional service, that is bhakti yogi. Some will do this ashtanga yoga, they are ashtanga yogi. But yoga is there because the purpose is not to enjoy senses, but to connect with Krishna. That's why it is yoga. But Krishna says, Yogina api sarvesham, mad gatena antaratmana, shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamu mataha. And of all the yogis, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga. And he is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So what is this? Shraddhavan bhajate yoma. So Prabhupada right. Bhajate doesn't mean worship. Worship. So bhajate is in the English word translation. It is mentioned as dictionary word worship. But worship means respect and honor. But one can avoid worshipping a respectable man or demigod and may be called discourteous. But actually, bhaja word means service in love and faith. So bhaja means service, no worship. So Prabhupada writes, one cannot avoid serving the Supreme Lord without being thoroughly condemned. If we cannot, if Krishna is, and if we don't serve in human life, we are condemned. That's why it is said, those who do not perform devotional service after getting human birth are actually living dead. What? They are living, but actually dead because there is nothing carried forward. Carried forward, समझ गया ना? Progress should be carried forward. So material carried forward, just like somebody says, okay, two students get pass in 10th standard, 12th standard, then engineering. So they are what? One is getting degrees, 10th, 12th, engineering. Another is getting degree plus actual practical knowledge. So once both are passed out, he says, okay, open that machine. So the open कैसे करना है तोड़ना क्या? Because he just got the certificate. Other person knows what to do. That is carried forward knowledge. So one person is just living human as a human. Senses सब हो गया. But death again वही कर रहा है. But devotee, he is also doing the same thing, but he knows that my destination is Krishna. Okay, that is the difference between the two: living, actually living, and progressing, and one is living dead. So human life means, that's why preaching is very important, to connect everyone with to Krishna. Then actual human life starts. Atato Brahma Jigyasa means start human life. Atato Brahma Jigyasa, what is beyond this Brahmanda? From where am I fallen from? And from what is my destination? So that is the real destination. So this is the word bhajanti. So Prabhupada mentions. Hmm. So, whether it is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, everybody progresses towards Bhakti Yoga only. That is actually Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal. The paragraph number, the last one, two, three, third paragraph, very important paragraph. Prabhupada writes, all other yogas are but means to come to the point of bhakti only. So even starts from karma yoga, suppose. So from the beginning of karma yoga to the end of bhakti yoga is a long way to self-realization. So people are attached to fruity result in the beginning. Later they renounce that and the knowledge comes. So that it becomes a jnana yoga. And then later then it turns to meditation on super soul by different physical processes. And the mind to Krishna, that is called Ashtanga Yoga. And when one surpasses the Ashtanga Yoga, then one comes to the point of Bhakti Yoga. And okay, this is Parabrahman. Super soul is Parabrahman. So how can I connect with him? So I have to serve him. That is Bhakti Yoga. So lastly, Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal. And then ultimate goal means actual service starts with Bhakti Yoga. So whoever is in between stages like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, or Hatha Yoga, that means he is not yet at the highest stage. Once you achieve the high Bhakti Yoga, that means you are at the highest stage. Just like a yoga ladder. Yes. So till the time you come to the Bhakti Yoga, you are into the lower stages. Karma, Jnana, Ashtanga, and then Bhakti Yoga. What is the example? So we see that Himalayan mountain is the highest mountain. Okay? Among all the mountains, Himalayan mountain, highest peak. But in the Himalayan, the highest peak is Mount Everest. That is the culmination. Similarly, all transcendental processes are like Himalaya. Again, they are all glorious. But you are climbing now the mountain, Himalaya mountain, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. But you reach to Mount Everest means that is the highest. Now there is no beyond Mount Everest. Just like Bhakti Yoga is goal and sadhana, same. Krishna Bhakti. Same what you do with Navida Bhakti with the impure senses and impure mind. After liberation, you have to do with the pure senses. Nothing new we have to do. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki